I've got a little side job I'm doing going here. I have 40 8mm camcorder tapes given to me by my friend Katie's mother. These are all tapes that Katie's parents recorded of her and the various events in her childhood. Recorded between 1995 and 2006. And these 40 tapes span all three recording generations, video 8, high 8, and digital 8. And they had at least 3 camcorders over that 11-year time span, one of each generation. But their latest one they had quit working, and so they had no way to watch the tapes anymore. So for the past few years, these tapes have just sat. They had no way to watch them, and no way that they knew of to put them on some other medium to make them watchable. So Katie's mom, when she came to bring the clothes and stuff for me, she also dropped these off because I said that I could digitize them, put them on DVD, or whatever they wanted. And she was just overjoyed, totally overjoyed. Because they didn't know if the tapes would ever be watchable again. You know, this stuff's completely obsolete. You can't buy new camcorders for the 8mm video format anymore. And buying used camcorders is at best a gamble. So they didn't know what they were going to do if they would never be able to watch the tapes again. Well, it's Trent to the rescue. To digitize all 40 of these tapes, it's going to take a long time. Each tape at the very least, you know, they were liberal with how much tape they use. Most of these tapes, I've been told, are completely filled. So for the digital ones, they're going to have an hour or an hour and a half of video on them. And then the analog ones are going to have at least 2 hours. And as a matter of fact, some of these tapes aren't even 2-hour tapes. They're actually the higher capacity 2.5-hour tapes. So those tapes, if they were recorded in LP mode, could have, I think, 5 hours? Let's see, high 8 is 2 hours on SP and I think 4 hours on LP. So yeah, that would translate to 5 hours on LP for a 150-minute tape. So there's a lot of video here. And yeah, they're super happy to that they're going to be able to have them on DVD now to watch. And I'm really happy to do it for them. I am getting paid, but I'm very happy nonetheless. It is quite time consuming, and for the most part I do have to sit here and watch them so that I can stop the DVD recording when the end of the recording on the tape approaches. But yeah, I'm using the Sony Handycam DCR TRV 340. I haven't used this camcorder in a couple of years. Well, I'd say, when did I get I guess about a year and a half since I last used this camcorder, when I got my high 8 camcorder, and that sort of replaced it. And then eventually I brought the TRV 350, this camcorder, up here with me to film my YouTube videos with, because I wanted to give this camcorder a rest, because this is the better camcorder, so I want it to last longer. But ironically, the TRV 350 here is well, the tape mechanism's failing. It likes to eat a tape sometimes, so I wasn't going to trust this camcorder with someone else's tapes, so I brought this one up from Mom's house, and it's working just fine. And I gather that it'll work just fine through all this, and probably over 100 hours of video, and I don't anticipate this camcorder having any issue with that based on how much I used it before I put it away. But yeah, the vast majority of these are your garden variety Sony MP tapes. It's video 8 tapes. This is a video 8 tape. And yeah, there's some Kodak tapes here. Well, that one's got a Sony tape in it. There's a Kodak tape. Kind of cool. Here's a Sony MP150, the higher capacity 150-minute tapes. You don't see a lot of these. It was always generally recommended to just not use them because the tape is slightly thinner, so less longevity and less durability. The Digital 8 recordings were made on these, the high 8 tapes. I am marking some of the tapes. Some of the tapes I have to look at them but not record them yet to see how much video is on them, because some of these they were recorded partially in SP and partially in LP, so I have to actually count up how much video is on them, because if it's just an hour then I can use the highest quality 1 hour mode on Mom's DVD recorder, which I've borrowed and brought up here. But if it's more than an hour, then I gotta use the 2 hour recording mode. Or perhaps if some of the analog recordings have more than 2 hours on them, I'll have to go to the 4 hour mode on that. For the most part, I'm gonna do 1 DVD per tape. I think that's a logical way to do it. I found one tape that had only 24 minutes of video on it, so if I find any other tapes recorded around the same time that also have a small amount of video, then I'll just concatenate those onto one 1 hour DVD. But for the most part, if I do put multiple tapes on one DVD, it's only going to be tapes that were recorded very closely to each other. You know, if I have a 25-minute recording made in 2006 and a 25-minute recording made in 1998, I'm not going to put them on one DVD just because it wouldn't make much sense. So I've got what I think is a fair system sorted out here to make the DVD such that everything makes sense and is chronologically in order and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty it's a pretty cool project. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to go through all these. Hopefully all of them have survived, but regardless, it'll be interesting to see how well the analog recordings have survived. This tape I'm doing right now is a Digital 8 recording from 2006, and it has survived just 100%, no issue at all. And I've looked at a couple of the older analog recordings, and they survived just fine as well. So they used almost entirely Sony tapes, so I don't anticipate there being any tapes that have rotted. Gosh, I know a VHS recording my parents made of me in 1995, because they had a VHS camcorder. That tape, when I digitized that tape in 2013 or 14, it was almost completely rotten. I was able to salvage a few minutes of video, but a lot of it had not survived the test of time, and that's the difference between, you know, a cheap VHS tape and a Sony Video 8 tape. A Fujifilm tape, just like the one of the ones that I have, or I have 2 or 3 of them actually. But yeah, mostly Sony MPs for the older ones, and a couple of Kodaks, and then Sony High 8 MPs for the Digital 8 recordings. So thought I'd just show that. And then of course I got my little TV here. This is the Radio Shack Portavision 5-inch color TV. And yeah, everything is going swimmingly. Got a little side job going here. I'm digitizing, or I have to digitize 40